Good morning, everyone. We will call this Economic Development Committee to order. This morning, we do have a presentation from the Northern Forest Center. Ms. Leslie Garrison has a presentation and some handouts I believe you have on your desk.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate this chance to present information to you all, and I want to say that as I was driving out here this morning, I thought this was a conversation presentation. Like snow on the ground, although not down here in the Banana Belt. Snow on the ground, that reminds us that we need to think about our community systems, but we get a little break to actually do something with our community systems over the next couple months before I have to see you here. So this is a very kind presentation. And if you're not aware, I would also know that Essex County is famous this weekend amongst the nerds that do crossword puzzles. So one 18 o'clock yesterday, Sunday New York French crossword puzzle was New York County with Lake Placid. So I don't think any, good throw rocks at me for that clue or whatever. But people crossword puzzlers all across the country were Googling New York County with Lake Placid to find out about Essex County over the weekend. So, that's cool. Funny little tidbit to start off on. So you have a presentation. I understand this is going to shine in your eyes. Perfect. I promise not to bore you to tears with a lot of words. I didn't. Pictures though, so I did want to bring along Does that help? Okay, great. I'm not used to this. I feel this is not my native environment, walking around with a microphone. All right, great. So the Northern, just a little bit of context on the program I'm going to talk to you about, the organization that I represent. I'm here on behalf of the Northern Forest Center, which is a nonprofit based out of Concord, New Hampshire. But the center serves the Northern Forest region across New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, the area that you see in green there. And as I say, the center is a nonprofit that works with philanthropic and grant dollars. And the center's based on a philosophy that our communities can develop community vitality and economic revitalization based on maintaining and utilizing healthy forests. So that's kind of the philosophy that drives the center's work. And the center has a number of different program areas. I'm not going to talk about all of them in any detail, but the program area that I am here to talk to you about is a program that focuses on how can we heat our homes and buildings utilizing the forest resource that we have across this region. So the core kind of problem that we're trying to address with this work is this. Here we have an oil tank. You're all familiar with what these look like. I happen to have driven past this particular one in Lake Placid on my way here this morning. This one, this data tells us that North Country residents in the 7 counties of our North Country region, of our Regional Economic Development Council region, we spend over $200 million on heating fuel each year. And that's just our residents. It doesn't include businesses and other buildings, municipal buildings, and that sort of thing. And of that $200 million, 80% of that immediately leaves our region. $160 million is a huge wealth drain that immediately leaves our region and does not benefit us. So we all know how much it hurts to write those big checks for heating oil, and it hurts even more because it's not benefiting our communities in any way. So what the center is trying to do, the Northern Forest Center is trying to do through the program that I'm here to talk about, is think about ways that we can keep that wealth in our region and benefit our communities. So we all know that wood heat is an option to
address those bills and make heating more affordable. But in the past, there have been a lot of problems with wood heat. It's been labor intensive, stacking and cutting cordwood, hauling bags of pellets. It's also been at times highly polluting, and the systems that I'm here to talk about really address those problems. This is a different and novel technology that is convenient and automated and very clean burning. So this is the kind of system that I'm here to talk to you about and promote, and potentially offer you incentive money to install in your municipal buildings or nonprofits in your communities. This is really the core image that I wanted to make sure I showed you, and the main reason I wanted to make sure I had a PowerPoint. So what you see here is a bulk pellet truck that looks a lot like an oil truck or a propane truck. It's just a sort of simple and automated, and it's dumping bulk pellets, bulk wood pellets into, in this case, it's a storage room inside the building. Some of you, if you went ahead and took place in the technology, in the program that I'm going to talk about, you would opt to have an outdoor pellet shed instead of an indoor pellet shed. But whether it be outdoor or indoor, it would be a bulk pellet facility where you might get deliveries of 4 or 5 or 6 tons of pellets at a time. And those would automatically feed your pellet boiler. You wouldn't need to go down and carry 5-gallon buckets or haul 40-pound bags. It would feed a pellet boiler that would provide whole building heat to your building. I'll talk a little more about the boilers themselves on the next slide. That boiler would dump all of its heat into a thermal storage tank or buffer storage tank, what you see in number 4 there, and then that would provide whole building heat via your radiators, your baseboard radiators, or whatever style heat you have. And it can also, as you see here, provide domestic hot water if you want it to. Just another shot of what the bulk pellet delivery looks like, and here you see what an external bulk pellet shed might look like. But again, the core thing I want you to notice here is that there's nobody hauling 40-pound bags of pellets. So this is pretty automated and simple. And the truck that you see here, I'll talk more about where those trucks travel from, but there are trucks that will serve this area with bulk pellets. So these boilers are highly automated. Again, you have the option of bulk pellet delivery. Whoops. They're highly efficient, meet high quality air quality standards, and are very advanced in terms of their controls, and they do have cleaning requirements, but they're minimal compared to some of the stories you may be familiar with other wood heating appliances. So you see there are a couple different manufacturers that manufacture this kind of equipment. All of the models that you see here qualify for our program. So the Northern Forest Center said, okay, we've got this problem that we're leaking wood heating dollars. We got this solution that we have a modern heating solution that can meet our heating needs. Now we just need to get it out on the ground and get people using this. And so the center has been using grant dollars and philanthropic dollars to deploy these boilers in clustered areas across the 4-state Northern Forest Center region, Northern Forest region, and has implemented what we call the Model Neighborhood Wood Heat Initiative in New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, and of course, New York. And through that has helped to incentivize and support the installation of more than 125 of these boilers in homes. The 2 of those photos are homeowners. The woman on the bottom left is also a small business owner and operates a small business out of her home. The bottom right is a low-income housing network. The upper left is a home outside of Saranac Lake. Upper right is a church, and on the left you see Jerry Delaney, a town board member in the town of Saranac. So municipalities, nonprofits, homes, all sorts of entities have benefited from implementing this technology. The installations that the center's been a part of add up to measurable savings in terms of the amount of money spent on fuel. They save carbon dioxide by using a more renewable resource, and they benefit the local economy by keeping our heating dollars here at home and recirculating in our local community. So this is a screenshot from the center's website where we track these impacts in an ongoing way. So, what can this mean for you in your communities? I'm the director of the Model Neighborhood Program here in the Adirondacks, and it's my job to help you all move forward with this if you want to utilize this program. We have a residential and commercial program with installations clustered around Saranac Lake, Saranac, and Tupper Lake. But I'm really here to talk to you about the municipal and nonprofit program. We are looking to do at least 10 installations, and our geography for the program is Essex, Clinton, and Franklin, and then just recently I had our geography expand to include Hamilton and St. Lawrence counties. And our goal here is to build these markets. So just before I leave this slide, I want to actually the photos are in the next slide. So you see the Saranac Town Hall, which has a pellet boiler, the Town of Belmont Town Hall, that's Bruce Russell, the supervisor of the Town of Belmont in Franklin County, standing by his new pellet boiler about a year ago, and the Belmont, a picture of the Belmont Town office from the outside, down at the bottom, with the installer that helped with that installation, and my colleague Maura Adams from the center. So, the way this program works is that we provide incentives out of our grant dollars of $10,000, and it's a very simple program. I have copies of our application here for anybody that wants it, but this is 10 or 15 copies of our application. This is not some crazy state program that has a 50-page application. It's very simple. I'm here to support you to step through the program. Our program can be layered with a state program called Renewable Heat New York, which has additional dollars which are comparable to our incentives. So you could easily be looking at an incentive program of $20,000 or more. The eligibility for this particular program is any municipal building and any nonprofit building. So I hope that could be the county, pretty county buildings. It could be your town buildings. It could be a school in your town. It could be your highway building or your EMS building. And it could be any nonprofit in your community. So I hope that as you think about this, you'll think about whether there's a suitable nonprofit in your community, and please connect me with people that might be, please either send people my way or give me ideas of people I should talk to in your community, because I really do want to deploy these dollars and get them out there. We only have a limited time window to deploy the grant dollars that we have. The grant that we're working under ends later in 2017, which is one of the reasons that I'm so eager to get installations happening and help you think about it. So as you think about what a good building would be in any of the entities that I talked about, a really perfect candidate building for this would be a building where you need a new boiler for whatever reason, and you have hot water heat. That makes for a very simple change out. You have compelling economics because you need to invest in a new boiler anyway, and the hot water heat makes for a very simple change out in terms of putting in the boiler. But other situations can work too. They just may be, slightly less compelling or slightly more difficult. So I said I would talk about where the pellets would come from, and I wanted to show you this. So often I get the question of, are pellets available? So here you see a graphic that shows the pellet mills in our region. This is obviously zoomed way out, so you get the big picture view. But there's Kern Renewables up in Messina. There's Vermont Wood Pellets south of Rutland, and New England Wood Pellets in, I forget the name of the town that's in, but sort of outside of Utica area. And so pellets from any of those three can make their way here to Essex County in bulk trucks. I can talk more about that specifically, but Kern Renewables, for example, has told me that they're willing to go at least 100 miles, which would get them to Elizabethtown. I've Google mapped it. And they've also basically said, we're not going to you get a customer in your program, we're not going to leave them without pellets. In particular, Kern, I know this firsthand, but perhaps it's true of the others, they're really eager to do more of their business in bulk pellets. They really want to sell their customers bulk pellets instead of producing a lot of bagged pellets. And so now's a great time to become a bulk pellet customer, to get on in their queue as a bulk pellet customer. And again, a picture of the trucks that they would use, the kind of truck that they would use to deliver their pellets with. This is a kind of a confusing graphic, and you don't need to understand all of it, but basically the green line shows the cost of pellets compared with other fuels, and basically what you see is that it tends to be on the low side compared to other fuels, and it also tends to be extremely stable compared to other fuels. So this would make for pretty easy budgeting because it's quite a reliable price, and certainly when oil prices spike, you'd be sort of immune from that to a certain extent. And by making the switch, you'd be supporting local forest-related jobs and businesses that, would benefit people throughout our community, keeping money in our local economy, and also helping to keep our forests as forests, providing a market for low-grade wood that would allow, providing a market for low-grade wood that is critical to make logging jobs work and sort of makes the economics of having forests make sense for landowners. So it's heat you can feel good about. And this last slide is a picture of students at a school in Vermont that converted to wood heat. I believe I think it's in Burke, Vermont. So we're looking to sort of make more pictures like this happen for our communities. And with that, I would be happy to field any questions you might have. I do want to note that I've been talking to Mr. Moore from North Hudson about a cordwood boiler installation, which would be sort of a slightly different application of our program. It's not central to the kind of the way we're trying to run our program, but we are hoping to make that work for North Hudson. But as I say, I'm very eager to get ideas or referrals for either, sorry, I'm not used to this mic, don't know where to hold it, your communities or folks in your communities that might benefit.
Thank you very much. I will open it up now to any questions or comments.
Does new construction qualify?
Yeah, that would be eligible. And I do want to note, I did come and talk to this group a few years ago, and the program was a little different at that time. At that time, for example, new construction was not eligible. Our program's changed quite considerably, and so new construction would be eligible.
When did that change?
When did that change? I think it changed in January of 2016.
We're doing a new project in Westport. We investigated this. What's the time between to implement this, put application in, what's the time frame you're looking at?
Can be as quick as you can do it. I mean, we're really nimble. Are you asking how long it takes on our side?
Yeah.
I mean, we can approve an application in we can turn an application approval around in 24 or 48 hours. And, I mean, if you, it really boils down to how quickly can the installation happen. We do one process step that we like to see. It doesn't apply to every single building, is we like to see an energy audit, and we'll pay for that in order to make that happen. So that can be something that creates an extra step, but, you know, if you were ready to put a boiler in tomorrow, we'd be ready to subsidize it tomorrow, pretty much. Yeah, Ruby.
Leslie,
Sorry.
what's the estimated cost of this system?
Great
Municipal building.
Yeah, great question, and really hard to answer because
I know
buildings...
it's based on square footage and so forth.
Yeah. What I can tell you that I'll give you, these aren't cheap systems.
They are?
They are not cheap systems. For a home, to give you an idea, we've been seeing quotes that have been somewhere in the neighborhood of $20,000 to $35,000. That, you know, at the upper end, that's adding distribution system, you know, adding radiators and that sort of thing. So for a municipal building, there's a lot of variability. The two town halls I showed you, neither of them was above that $35,000 figure. I guess that's the...
Roby, I can tell you it's $35,000 an estimate cost for the town of Westport. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking in terms of the nutrition building, with $10,000 offset, I don't know what the cost we have already is for the heating system for that building.
Just to emphasize, though, the Renewable Heat New York program can be layered with ours. They can bring as much as $10,000 or $16,000 to the table or more if it's a more expensive installation. That state program will pay 45% of the installed cost up to caps that are based on the system size. So once you layer our $10,000 and theirs, you get to pretty...
Because we're building a new nutrition building.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think we'd be interested in knowing
Yeah. Where is
what
that?
our cost would be and how it relates to the cost estimates that we already have.
Right.
It's in Westport.
In Westport, okay. And is that the one that you're talking about? Are you talking about the town hall having? Yeah.
Jerry's not here, but my understanding is a company called Essex Box and Pallet, which is in Chesterfield. Don't they make the...
They do, and I've been talking to them. And, you know, we have been wanting to support local, you know, local businesses as much as possible. They aren't, and actually the center is working with them on business development through another branch of our program, so we're certainly interested in supporting that business. They do not manufacture bulk pellets. They don't currently have a way to distribute bulk pellets. I've been talking to Mike Lemza about whether that's something that they would like to do in the future and how they might do that. So the reason that they're not on that map is that they don't currently distribute bulk pellets.
Have you talked to Ward Lumber? Are they interested in producing pellets?
I have not had that conversation with them. That's a good question. Certainly sawdust can be used as an input for pellets, and it's great because you get a very closed loop. You know, you get to use up all your products in a closed loop way, but I haven't had that conversation with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions, Sean?
So
You did mention there was another grant program that had a short timeline. When is that going to run out?
My program is due to sunset later in 2017. At the moment, unless we're able to get an extension for our grant, which we might consider.
Supplement one.
The Renewable Heat New York program, which is New York State's program, that one, I'm not familiar with the timeline on that. I'm not aware of it sunsetting anytime soon. So I really would be very interested in emails or phone calls from any of you, or please pass my contact information on to others in the community in your own communities that might benefit. Again, if there's a church in your community that you think might be a good use, I need to meet our time frame. I'm really interested in pushing these jobs forward. So who would be the best contact for me to talk to about Roby just stepped out, but about the nutrition building?
Our county manager would
Okay.
probably be able to coordinate.
Okay. So I'll follow up with you about that question. Great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. It's a nice program. Microphone. Thank you very much. Again, thank you very much. We will move to next on our agenda, the IDA. Please, it's here.
Good morning. We've submitted a monthly report. Does anybody have any questions in reference to the report?
Any questions or comments on the report this month for the IDA? Being none, did you have any comments for us?
No, I don't.
Business is good?
Things are picking up, absolutely, when spring rolls around, or when Mother Nature lets spring roll around. There's a lot of activity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Community Resources, kind of a blast from the past. Ms. Anna Reynolds is ill today, so filling in for her will be Michael Mascardi. Did I get that right?
No, actually, that's, yeah, if you have any questions, I'll go to Mike, but I'm gonna take care of it for you.
Mike, go to work.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least he's here.
Okay, then, under Community Resources.
Yeah, we do need to do a resolution authorizing a budget amendment pertaining to the Champlain Valley waterfront. This is a grant that was already in place. This is really based upon the state's fiscal year rollover, so we need to roll over this in terms of our budget, so we need a resolution doing that.
And it's under
You're right, that's the Champlain Valley waterfront money. That's a number of you towns are participating in, so we need to move that forward.
Okay, thank you. Moved by Mr. Miga. Seconded by Mr. Herring. Under discussion, questions or comments on the resolution? Being none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
The second one was the Minerva Lake Dam project. That's the reinforcement for that reconstruction of the Minerva Lake Dam, and that's a resolution we also need to move forward to increase revenues and appropriations, moving the money forward.
Resolution for the Minerva Dam project, moved by Mr. Moore, second by Mr. Marnell. Questions or comments on the resolution?
A question. I'm looking at the next resolution, and the dollar amounts are exactly the same. I'm just curious.
Is that dollar amount correct, Mike?
Yeah.
They are, yeah, yeah.
Luck of the draw, huh?
Yeah, I think it was like a standard grant that they provided for both of those projects, but the amount is the same.
Well, it's a big application, state split the money in half, that the allocated gave half and half.
Okay. Thank you. I got it.
Thank you very much, Michael. Mr. Moore?
I was just going to say that that's part of the TNC grants that the 5 towns received. $250,000 was allocated for municipal funding, and $500,000 was for the micro enterprise grants. Minerva and North Hudson received approximately half of the top 250. That's why they're the same.
Thank you for that clarity. Questions or comments? Seeing none? Next.
Did you vote it? Did you vote it?
I did not call that question, did I? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion now carries.
Okay, so the last one was for the Frontier Town Site Assessment in the amount of the same $121,618. And again, that was split.
To move by Mr. Moore, second by Mr. Miga. Questions, comments? Being none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Any other further questions or comments or business from Community Resources?
Well, it's not from Community Resources, but while I'm on a roll here, I do have one more resolution that you need to pass. It's a resolution changing the date of the June 2017 regular board meeting from June 5th to June 6th. That's based upon ATV requirements, AATV.
Yes, thank you. And again, we do this every year. Would someone care to move that? Mr. Moore, second on the movement of the date, seconded by Mr. Tyler. Questions or comments on the change? Hopefully all will be able to attend. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries. No referrals this month for planning. Next on the agenda, the historian Aurora has been excused today. Cooperative Extension, Mr. Rick is here with us this morning. Good morning, Rick.
Good morning. Just like to add a couple of comments to what I'd sent out earlier as far as a report. I have continued, as my predecessor, to send out information related to regional specialists, and I just wanted to emphasize when we're reporting under economic development and the importance of Cornell Cooperative Extension in that area of economic development, meaning jobs, dollars in the community. Our regional specialists range from fruit specialists, viticulturalists, which are those working with the vineyards, the working with hops and that growth resurrection in the area. Also with our dairy specialists, agronomy specialists, and others working with commercial farms, which are valuable to the area, keeping the landscape open and involved with both agriculture, economic development, but also tourism and agritourism. To go along with the idea of the regional specialists being such an important facet of our portfolio, if you will, with Cornell Cooperative Extension, what builds upon that are the boots on the ground here in the county. And I've mentioned more than once the search and then the successful search for Dr. Carly Summers, who's here in the county and working with us. And that person has hit the ground running, a term that's used often, but this is really the case because the young lady is out on farms, at meetings, meeting people. I've given her two recommendations, if you will. One is to listen intently as to the needs within the county, but also at the same time as she's putting together a long list of things that she'd like to concentrate on and work with. I'm telling her to go slow to some extent because there's so many things that she wants to do, but she will be actively involved with many activities with specialists on her own and with the community, and I believe that is where we will grow, and you will see quite a lot of success in the coming months and years. That position, as I've referred to with the specialists, local educators, bringing information to the public, to citizens of the county, it's a new position in that it's full-time. It's here in Essex, and it's going to tie with the position in Clinton County. It's going to tie in with the new position that we're in the process of hiring in Franklin County. So we'll have 3 active individuals in the respective counties working with specialists, and that's only going to help the region as well as the specific counties. And again, I want to emphasize economic development and jobs. The other thing I'd like to say, and I just heard it mentioned, and that's the gateway to the Adirondacks, and I look forward to Extension being involved with that on the ground floor, because we're also talking, again, agriculture in respect to tourism, agritourism. There's, the brewery that's going there has to have or should have locally grown products. We talk hops, barley, etc. But there's other activities as well that can fit into that. More close to home is Adirondack Harvest, the importance of that marketing brand for local foods. And the members of that, the producers themselves, are looking at it very carefully, looking at the past history, where it's been, and looking as to where they want it to go. What marketing directions there are, the members' involvement, putting more skin in the game, if you will, knowing that in order for it to work effectively, they have to be very involved, and they want to make it mean something, so that when you see that sign Adirondack Harvest on a producer's farm or on a restaurant, there will be meaning to that, and successful in marketing and dollars moving throughout the county. This is very important because it's a combination of public and private dollars in that. And so the Harvest New York, which has been around for many years here, and this county has been extremely supportive of it, is in the process of looking and making it move to the next level, not only here in this county, but in the Adirondack region. And I think this county especially will see payoffs from that. And Extension is taking a lead and working with the producers on that. Those are my quick response.
Thank you very much. It sounds like you made some nice progress, especially with the employment position for the 3 counties. Are there any questions or comments for the director? Mr. Moore.
Just to pick up on the gateway, one of the points in the master plan is to focus on the local forest and food industries, and we really hope to be able to focus on what's grown locally, and hopefully we'll be able to work together as we move forward.
Look forward to that.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Thank you very much. And this morning, Mr. McKenna was not able to make it. He is at another celebration, the 40th anniversary of the Olympic Center, I believe that's what it was. So next month, we will have a complete report. Questions or comments? Any other business to come before the committee? None, we stand adjourned. Thank you very much.